Yes. How much time? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Targeted action. They don't like the bank. It's Lee was talking about the most in court because they're all public. Targeted action. The most in court targeted action.
White House
Targeted action. The most targeted action. Targeted action.
First one is
The most targeted action.
so I have a first one this
In court tank. Targeted action. The most targeted action.
so I have a first one this
The most targeted action.
so I have a first one
Targeted action. Targeted action.
so I have a first one this well, the meeting between the DOJ staff and the admin staff just ended up with any major breakthrough. We're still a full sense of exactly what happened here. But Democrats are pushing to get full number of members, but that has not satisfied Democrats. It doesn't sound like there's been additional conversations for the last hour, but it doesn't appear like happened here. But Democrats are back to version of the general in contempt, at least at the moment. Now, there is that other matter that you break through.
Because it breach executive privilege. They don't actually cite executive privilege, but they say this: the White House directors remain legally protected from disclosure under long-standing constitutional breach executive privilege. They don't actually
in fact come forward. That's still an unanswered question, but this is a significant escalation by meeting House DOJ and the White House tomorrow and the Mueller request. Now that's a redacted version of the Mueller report to be available to a limited number of stations for the past hour, but it doesn't appear like happened here. But they don't want DOJ to have it tomorrow at the moment for an over. It sounds like this should
because it breach executive privilege. They don't actually cite
what happened here from past hour, but it doesn't appear like happened here
because it breach executive privilege. They don't actually cite
what happened here from past hour, but it doesn't appear like happened here
because it breach executive privilege. They don't actually cite
question on that what happened here from past hour, but it doesn't appear like happened here
because it breach
question on that what happened here
because it breach executive privilege. They don't actually cite breach executive privilege. They don't have to
Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because breach executive privilege. They don't have to privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to
Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because breach executive privilege. They don't have to breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to privilege. They don't have because breach executive privilege. They don't have to
Question on that, what happened?
privilege. They don't have breach executive privilege. They don't have to
Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering. Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because privilege. They don't have breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to they don't have to
On that, what happened? Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because privilege. They don't have breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to they don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because privilege. They don't have breach
On that, what happened?
breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to
Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because privilege. They don't have breach executive privilege. They don't have to because breach executive privilege. They don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on,
they don't have to they don't have to
on that, what happened? I mean, come on. What happened? I mean, come on.
they don't have to they don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on. Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on, you're volunteering.
because privilege. They don't have they don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on. Question on that, what happened? I mean, come on.
they don't have to they don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on.
privilege. They don't have to they don't have to
On that, what happened? I mean, come on. On that, what happened? I mean, come on.
they don't have to because breach executive they don't have to they don't have to because because breach executive they don't have breach executive privilege. They don't have to because they don't have to because
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're continuing to work on the executive calendar in the Senate. This week we'll do 2 circuit judges, stand up the EEOC, which has been delayed seemingly endlessly, and also get for American business trying to keep up around the world. As I said this morning, the Mueller report has been filed. Good afternoon, everyone. We're continuing to work on the executive calendar in the Senate this week. A couple of years talked to a whole lot of people so that they on obstruction. And the American people, I think, would like to move on. I find it interesting that even the Democratic candidates running for president say that when they have their town meetings in Iowa and New Hampshire and others, that they can engage. As I said this morning, I think it's time. The Mueller report has been filed. The case is everyone. We're continuing to work on the executive calendar.
And the number of people looking for jobs was 5.8 million. So again, the 13th month in a row now that the number of jobs available, about 263,000 new jobs created in that month, again, dramatically exceeding expectations. So all indications are that this economy is hitting on all of us who represent agricultural states and other sectors of the economy that depend upon trade, that the administration can strike a deal with China.
The Office of Management and Budget came out this past week with their report on the bottom line is you will pay more to wait longer for worst care. Let me repeat. You will pay more to wait, and the wait will not just be for treatment, it will also be for technology. Small hospitals, rural hospitals, 5 years, I would say to all of my patients who are on Medicare, that if they go forward with a Medicare for all, it will soon be Medicare for none.
We'll expect a new administration to be able to do, even though we're in the 3rd year of that new administration. In the 3 weeks since we changed the rules, by the end of this week, we will have confirmed 24 people, and things like the 2 years late being put in place because the abuse of the rules that had been occurring for 2 years is now ended.
The GDP growth, of course, our economy is booming, and so we want to take that and put the good news out there in our economy, but also with our small businesses. I want to refocus on an issue I've talked about many times here at this podium, and that's disaster rates, but also for the folks in the Midwest that continue to suffer. We've had flooding on the western side of Iowa, and now we see it on the eastern side of Iowa. So I want to see this political here, folks. We've got people back home that need this package. So disaster assistance, I'm cheering for the. I also want to talk just very briefly about trade. So we really need to see some relief when it comes to the trade front. So USMCA putting the pressure on speak with China too, as they are trying to tread backwards a little bit on what they've agreed to. We want to put the pressure on China even more. We want to make sure.
Well, as someone who grew up in a small business family, I'm thinking today, during this small business week, about small businesses like my own family. Grew his business. There are countless businesses around the state of Indiana and beyond that deal with the same sorts of challenges. Consumer optimism is high. People are spending at incredibly high levels. We're going to sustain this by continued policies your Republican Senate majority has brought you. Promises made, promises kept.
As you know, and there was several hundred former federal prosecutors who said the president would be indicted if you were not a sitting president. Do these episodes not concern you?
Well, it's over. I mean, I can understand why our friends on the other side are disappointed. They've been trying to look for some way to evaluation of what was alleged by a guy that everybody knows has no axe to grind, and he filed the report.
Is there a concern about the president's push for additional border security, how that could impact negatively?
Well, I don't think it's a complication. It's a separate request. Part of it is related to additional funding. I think even the New York Times is beginning to notice that this is a serious problem. The president's not making all this up. We've got a genuine crisis at the border, and it looks to me like
Consider how big of that disaster aid package was.
look, we always step up. In the past, we've stepped up a lot quicker than we have this time to deal with disasters when they occur, to address the problem. It's all over the South, all over the Midwest. We're open to additional Puerto Rican assistance. They've certainly gotten a substantial amount already, but we're open that Senator Shelby, Senator Leahy, the administration, and others will be able to come together and deal with this disaster like we have others. It's no excuse to politicize.
You advocated for Russell to be removed from the sanctions list so that Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska could do business in Kentucky. Deripaska is
Secretary of the Treasury about it, that the conditions that they thought needed to be met were met. It was completely unrelated to anything that might happen in my home without political considerations. And that was how I voted, the reason I voted the way I did. Thanks.